everybody, Ben Woodruff here. Today I'm taking you on a little bit of adventure with me. I'm in the deserts of northwestern Utah, and I'm out here near the Great Salt Lake, which is an enormous lake, biggest lake in Utah, and it's salty. It's saltier than the ocean, but it used to be part of ancient Lake Bonneville, which was fresh water. So I'm, about 1,000 feet under the Lake Bonneville level, but about 800 feet above the Great Salt Lake. But behind me, I'm going to check out some fossils, and I'm also probably going to go up to a cave with an amazing pictograph. I've shown it in videos in the past, but of course back in April I had cardiac arrest and had 3 strokes, and my memory got all scrambled. So what I've been doing is I've been going out to old places that I've gone on little adventures and explored and seen amazing things, and I'm like retracing my steps, going through all these things, and it's been very helpful for me to regain and reconnect all my memories. And I thought, you know what, I might as well share this with the world, so anybody else who wants to see these kind of things can get a little taste of what it's like to get out in some of these areas. This is a gloomy day here in beginning of February in northern Utah. But I thought, you know what doesn't look gloomy? Limestone fossils. Even in the gloomiest of weather, they still show up great. Now behind me, the fossils that we're going to be looking at, this whole mountainside is made out of limestone. So the limestone itself is a fossil. The entire mountain behind me literally is made out of dead stuff. So it used to be under the ocean. When dead stuff falls to the bottom of the ocean, it builds up. Most of the raw organics disintegrate, but some of the lime and some of the calcium stays and compresses. And if conditions are right, you'll get giant fossils, shellfish and fish and nautiloids and all kinds of things like that. So we're going to see what we can find. But most of this is made out of microscopic organisms called diatoms. Diatoms are alive today. They're in the ocean everywhere, and they're microscopic, but they're beautiful. They're prismatic and gorgeous, and when they fall, they build up. But as you can see, this entire mountain is built up. Now, the mountain itself has gotten pushed up. So it was building in sedimentary layers, and then it's pushed up. And that's going to matter once we get to the cave, because when we get to this cave, you're going to see it's really odd the way it formed, and the fact that it exists, and the fact that some ancient native peoples decided to paint a lasting petroglyph in there. That's pretty impressive. So anyways, let's go take a look here. We're going to see, hike up this mountain slowly. Again, my heart, I got to take it easy and just go bit by bit, slow by slow, but it's okay. So let's go see what we can find. Well, I'm mic'd up, so hopefully you can hear me. It's a little windy, but hopefully you can hear, and hopefully we're gonna see some cool fossils. All right, I'm this close to the truck, and I'm already seeing, this is horn coral. See this right here? So assumingly the actual organism would have been bigger, and this is just basically the skeleton of the coral. We'll probably see a lot more of this. Starting to get a little more interesting already. So you've got bits of horn coral. Sitting at this one right here. Pretty cool. But then you have things like, see this thing that looks like a screw or a bolt or a nut? And this is what that same thing looks like in cross section. That is a crinoid. So is this right here. These are cousins of starfish, sea stars. They grow long and tall. We only have a few of them left today, called sea lilies. This looks to be another one right here. This is actually kind of a cool piece where you can see it branching off. So this is the feeding platform. But some of these things got like 60, 70 feet tall in the ocean. But if you look closely all over, you can see all kinds of little shells and little organisms all through here. But that's actually really cool. That looks again like the feeding upper portion of a crinoid. That's pretty cool. I got really excited. I thought this was an ammonite, which is a shelled member of the squid family, but I think this is actually the cross broken section of a horn coral, but still really pretty piece. Here's some really big pieces of horn coral. It's really cool to see it. You see how detailed those fossils actually are. Here's more pieces here. You can see big old horn coral. There's a little one right there. Oh, there's a pretty one down here. Ooh, we got a bunch all over this rock. Let's take a look at this. Looks like some sort of shellfish here. And this is just covered with horn coral. All kinds of them. Just everywhere. So this ocean must have been highly productive. If you go back far enough in time, it's just amazing how the earth shifts and changes and moves land and water around. Let's take a look at where we're ultimately heading. If you look up here, right in the center, let you zoom in a little, you can see a cave. Let's see if I got that in the center there. And that's where we're heading up to, kind of right in the center there. We're gonna see a pretty epic pictograph. Give you a sense of the height so far. There's my truck, the Warm Pody down there. And all these sedimentary layers we're looking at here, if you see them, they're lined up like this. So all of this used to be flat, ocean layers that built up, and then tectonic forces have thrust them up. And so as we're going this way, we're getting closer to the modern day. The deeper we go this direction, the further we're going back in time. So who knows how many millions of years by the time we get to the cave we're gonna get. This is kind of fun. This rock formation looks like Pride Rock from The Lion King. And inside there is a little midden, a little den. So this could be from a pack rat, but it seems kind of small. You can see where the gathered up grasses and fed on. You can see, let me zoom in a little more. You can see the droppings there, some pretty fresh droppings. So whatever this species is, it's not here right now, but it looks like not like a pack rat. It looks like something else. But they've also gathered the tops of the thistles here. So whatever they're eating, this is a safe place. Because up above there have been golden eagles that have nested all the way up here. And for a golden eagle, then this is a good hiding place for a rodent. You can climb up here, sun yourself, and you can look straight up and see if the eagles are coming after you. And if they do, you just whoop, pop right back down in here, and then you're totally protected. And the eagle's not going to get into that. It's a good hiding spot, good little den. Finally starting to see what might be something in the ammonite family. If you look at this one right here, it's that spiral. Or it could be some sort of sea snail. There's a few of them around here. Looking over here as well. Got some of those spirals. Looking at that close, yeah, that's probably an ammonite. It's not very big, but it's just a little shelled member of the squid family. And there's a really big horn coral up here. Really big, beautiful one. There's more horn coral over here, but that's kind of neat. A cephalopod, member of the squid and octopus family. It's pretty cool. I'm really hoping to find, there's a type of member of the squid family called a baculite, and the shell that it has is straight, it's spiraled, but it's long and straight. It's kind of like a narwhal tusk. And I found one up here one time, a fossil that it was super long, but it had eroded away to do like a cross section, so you can see each valve. I've only seen it once. If I have a picture of it still, I'll put a picture up with it because it was really cool looking, but I'm hoping I'll find it again today, but no such luck just yet. Went around this rock slide. I'm bypassing, gonna cut up under the cliff here, and then straight up there to the cave. Home stretch. I thought this was a deer footprint, but now that I'm looking at it a little more closely, I think it's actually a bighorn sheep. I've seen bighorn sheep up in these mountains before, up in these cliffs. I'll put some footage I have of bighorns from another area in the state, because I don't think I got footage of them the day that I saw them out here. But I think that that's probably because this kind of looks like it's being used almost like a game trail. I'm going to be going up here, but it looks like the trackways go up that way, which makes sense. You know, bighorns are pretty nimble, and they'll scramble up just about anywhere. But that looks like, that does look like a bighorn. Got a couple of life forms right next to each other, one fossil and one modern day. So I got a couple pieces of horn coral, and if you look closely at all those little dots, those are all fossils too. They're ancient and they have certain chemicals in them. And then you have modern day lichen down here that is feeding off the actual rock and fossil. So how would that be if you're fossilized and then millions of years later, another organism is feeding off of the chemicals within you? Kind of strange. Now these look like they're the mollusk family. These right here, there's another one over here. These look, there's a bunch of them in pieces. They're shattered, but they look like some species of shellfish. They're darker and, you know, about the size of a donut. Here you can get a good view of the sedimentary layers right here and right here. And you can see, like I was saying earlier, you know, these used to be level and now they've been pushed up. So again, the further we go this way, the further back in time we're going. Still got a way to go. So I gotta get all the way up to the cave. It's way up there. Here we go. See, now we're getting further back in time and we're getting more into kind of recognizable shellfish here. Different mollusks. I don't know what this is. That might be a horn coral, but it's got kind of some weird angles to it. So more three-dimensional. I think that probably is a horn coral that's curved around. But that was weird looking. Oh, I'm about halfway up. I'm high enough now that I really can't see my truck. The war pony, the mighty war pony. But it's amazing up here to see the view, just how you can see the curvature of the earth from this high. You know, the Great Salt Lake is the biggest lake in Utah, and it really is enormous. It's large enough that it should be considered an inland sea. But it's just strange to see it up here and just to see how flat it is, and to be able to see, literally see the curvature of the earth. It's pretty wild. And it's interesting to think just how much this landscape has changed. Even just 2,000 years ago, this local area where I'm at right down below me would have been much more lush. There would have been juniper trees and sagebrush and more freshwater springs. And there would have been more life around here, even just 2,000 years ago. And if you go back about 9,000 years ago, then this ancient Lake Bonneville, which covered almost the entire state of Utah, it was here 10,000 years ago. And a natural dam broke about 10,000 years ago. It started flooding northward and it receded down to what we have today, the Great Salt Lake. And it's just strange to think that where I'm at right now, you know, even this high up on the side of the mountain, I'd still be under, you know, 700 feet of water at least with where I'm at 10,000 years ago. But 9,000 years ago, the level would be about where it is now. It's amazing how the world changes, how landscapes change and adapt in the ebb and flow of all things. It's just really wild to see. And I've lived long enough now to see those changes in my lifetime, to see droughts and to see flood seasons and to see, you know, pine forests and fir forests get knocked down by an avalanche and then get replaced by aspen trees and have an aspen forest. It's wild. So, but gotta get going, gotta get all the way up to this cave. This is weird looking. It's got some pretty incredible texture. I don't know if this would be some type of coral, I'm guessing. But that's, went around this rock slide. I'm bypassing, gonna cut up under the cliff here, and head straight up there to the cave. Home stretch. So this stuff, this is called cave popcorn. If you have a crack, like that one right there, in between some limestone rocks, as some of the calcium dissolves out and kind of liquefies, then it will redeposit in these kind of patterns. It almost looks like popcorn or like coral, but it's not a fossil. It's technically a cave formation, because technically that little crack right there is a cave. It's just not a cave that we go in. So this forms a lot in caves, but also in crevices all throughout here in the Rocky Mountain West. And I noticed also down here, looks like we got a really nice little shell. Oh, that's spiral. That's a pretty little piece. You can see that spiral. So that could be a shellfish or it could be an ammonite. Not sure, there's not enough of it, but it's pretty neat. Almost to the cave, right up there. It's cool the different kinds of wildlife that I've seen up at this cave over the years. Just right behind me, years ago, I saw some rosy finches, I believe is what they're called, and I've never seen them before, and they were just hanging out in the cave, and when I came in there, they all flew out and they were just trying to stay out of the cold in the cave itself. You don't think of daytime songbirds sleeping in a cave, but I thought that was kind of cool. So, you know, both animals and humans have used this cave over the years. It's pretty neat. Okay guys, made it all the way up to the cave, a little out of breath. We're gonna go inside and we're gonna take a look at this amazing pictograph. This cave though formed, it is odd, we're gonna get into it in a second, but the view up here is spectacular. It's a very commanding view. No matter what time period this petroglyph this pictograph was painted, whoever came up here, clearly this is a beautiful place, a commanding place, maybe a very spiritually significant place, not sure. But the view is spectacular. And, you know, I just really had to push my heart after that cardiac arrest back in April. I really had to push myself to come up here, but just took it a few steps at a time. And it's just downhill from here. So we're gonna take a look inside here. Okay, before I go in though, let's talk about this cave. This cave is really strange. If you look inside, you can see everything is vertical. That's the layers of the sediments. You look at the stuff on top, these are concretions. And if you look up close to them, it's like they're cemented together. What happens is this white stuff dissolves out from the limestone and it goes through the cracks and it acts as a natural cement. So what this is, these are natural sedimentary layers that were here. And what happened is this rock slide came down over the top of it, cemented, and then eventually this eroded out, and then eventually more rock slide came and covered up the front. So what you have now is a cave that is not very naturally occurring. This is not normally how a limestone cave would form, but it's really cool. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look on in here. Sometimes there's owls, barn owls, that roost up in here. But you can see the entire roof is all just a landslide that's cemented together. So it's actually not a very safe cave to be in technically. And you can see in the back, let me zoom in here. See if we can zoom in here. Probably can't see it very well. There's a pack rat midden. You could go all the way back up in there and you can see the droppings and the buildup there. But let's take a look at the Red Man pictograph. This is absolutely incredible. I'll talk about it in a second, but let's take a look at this. It almost looks like a shield. Red ochre pigments. And if you look really closely, we don't touch it, but you can see there's more of these coming off here and here. So whatever headdress or whatever feathers, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that have eroded away with time. So however that headdress was depicted or whatever it is, it definitely used to be more grand. The colors are just beautiful. You can't, I'll try to, in post, I'll try to kind of show what's going on here and try to doctor up the colors a little bit, but they're really vibrant, really beautiful. All right, so I'm up here with this beautiful petroglyph here in northern Utah, and I hope you can see the colors. You can kind of get a sense, my hand's right next to it. We don't touch petroglyphs or pictographs, but I want you to give a sense of the size. This is a large pictograph, not a petroglyph, it's a pictograph. A petroglyph is pecked or carved into the rock. A pictograph is painting. Nowadays, people are just kind of loosely using the term rock art. It's all rock art, and that's fine, but I like to know the difference because pigments are rare. to do a pigment in a rock is rare. Worldwide, it's a rare thing, and it's rare for it to last. The red in this is most likely from a mineral called red ochre that is mixed, because how could this last? You can see there's streaks. When it rains, you can see the streaks coming down. How does it last? Well, it's mixed with hide glue, which is where you take the hide of an animal, raw hide, you grind it up into a powder, and you bring it to almost a boil, and that makes one of the strongest and longest lasting glues on the planet. So if you mix your pigment with that and then paint it on, you get a beautiful pictograph, some sort of figurative depiction that's going to last for a long time, much longer than just regular paint. Now, this is relatively protected in this little cave here, in this alcove, and so that's probably also why it's been around so long. But who made it? We don't know. We don't know the cultural affiliation for sure. People have lived on these lands for over 10,000 years, and it's not just one people. Different peoples have come in and gone, come in and gone, come in and gone. Different peoples have fought other peoples, so we don't know for sure who made these. One thing we do know, that in northern Utah and southern Idaho, in caves up on mountains, we often find depictions like this with a figure who's painted in red and has like a red feathers, red plumes, red something going across. And these caves, just like this cave I'm in now, show no sign of habitation. There's no charcoal, there's no ash, there's no sign of fire, there's no sign of people living here, there's no artifacts to be found. It's just a cave with some sort of important meaning that had this figurative depiction placed on it. So I've found caves all over northern Utah where either in the cave or directly above the cave, this figure is shown. So you can see, it looks like he has something round. It might be a shield, it might be a drum, don't know. And this could be a walking staff, could be a spear, not sure. But whoever made this left a message for our time and for the future. They were expressing something, depicting it, and whatever they were saying, hopefully it can move a person in a way that they feel some sort of an emotional response. Any art, whether it's religious and spiritual or just for the fun of it, they say the way to judge the success of a piece of art is if it elicits an emotional response. That could be good, that could be bad, that could be revulsion, that could be excitement, that could be arousal, that could be fear. If a piece of art elicits an emotional response, it does it. And whatever this is saying, every time I've been up to this cave, it always moves me to see this figure, whoever this personage is. And it looks also like there's earrings hanging down and there's a face. It's a beautiful piece. It's beautiful. And it always does move me. So I would consider this a successful piece of art by that definition. Now again, if you ever come to this place, I specifically did not say where it is. This front of it keeps eroding out to where people can see it from the road, and then it refills back in and uncovers and recovers. Sometimes it's really easy to find. I don't like to let people know about this because for the most part, it hasn't been tampered with. Except I can see right behind me, there is somebody, I'm going to show this in a second, I'm going to film this for you. There's a little, somebody has carved a duplicate of this. I'm glad they didn't put it on the piece itself. It kind of bothers me, but at the same time, I understand the emotion. Somebody was emotionally moved. Whatever this is saying, it is saying it. And this little piece that I'm going to show you behind that somebody carved into the rock in modern day, looks like they're saying yes. Whatever this is saying, I'm saying it back to you. From my time, I'm saying it back to you. So I understand kind of the message behind the modern version, kind of repeating what was said from the past. But this piece, this is a beautiful piece, beautiful cave, way up on the mountain. I hope you enjoyed coming and seeing this with me. Let me know if you would like to see more videos like this, if you just like little Ben adventures where I take you out when I go out exploring and teaching. And yeah, let me know what you think. And I hope you enjoyed seeing this incredible pictograph. And as always, happy hawking.